In this video, we're going to start in Revit and we're going to show the process of publishing data from a Revit file into an NVI file. Okay, so to start Revit, I'm just going to come to the icon on my desktop here and I'm just going to double click it. Okay, now I'm going to open the file I want to work in. Now I'm not going to come up here and choose one of these recent files because they may be a central file or a local file that's linked to a central file, but in either case, if I open it up from here, it's going to be in read-only mode, and that's going to prevent me from changing some of the views and will keep me from extracting some of the data that I need from the model. So instead I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to choose open, and I'm just going to navigate to the file I want to open. And the file I want to open, I'm going to click it once, and before I actually open, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to see if I can select detach from central. So if it is a central file, we do want to detach it from the central, or if it is linked to the central file, we want to detach it from that central file by clicking that right there. Then you want to come over here and expand this and choose work sets so you can keep the work sets, and then you want to click open. Okay, so here's the Revit model. There's a couple things we want to do before we start extracting data. The first thing is we want to make sure we're in the 3D view. So to do that, I can always come to this little house up here up top and just click that. That'll put me in the default 3D view. Next, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to check a couple things in the properties panel here. First, I'm going to make sure parts visibility is set to show original. Next, I'm going to go into visibility graphics. And I'm going to go to a couple categories here. First, I'm going to go to annotation categories. I want to make sure these are all checked off, or all set to not show in the model. So I'm going to leave that unchecked there. And then analytical model categories, again, uncheck that. Imported categories, again, uncheck those. And then Revit links, leave those unchecked too. And then I'm going to select apply, and then OK. Next, I'm going to come here to discipline, and I want to make sure this is set to coordination. Last, I'm going to come down to the bottom and check the phasing. I want to make sure the phase filter is set to none and that the phase is set to the latest phase. When I'm done, I'll click apply. And now we're ready to extract data. We're going to do that by running an add-in program called the Composer. And I'll do that by coming up here to add-ins and going external tools, choosing NVI Composer for Revit. Now the Composer was installed when NVI was installed on your machine, so you don't do anything separate in order to get the add-in. Now we have some options in here. We're just going to leave the defaults all set. We're just going to click Start, and then we're just going to name the file. Now the Composer is starting to run. It's extracting data from the model. When it's finished, we'll have published all the data into an NVI file. Okay, exporting succeeded. The Composer is done. We can just click OK here. And now we're finished in Revit. So I can go ahead and minimize or close this model. I'm going to do that. That concludes this video on publishing data from a Revit model into an NVI model. For the next video, we're going to open NVI and start talking about the user interface.